Hello again, my YouTube family. It's Donnie B all day. Going to bring you another knife. I'm going to make this video quick because it's windy out here and I'm a sissy in the cold. I'm bringing you one of the greatest knives ever made. This is the Case knife sheath, by the way, very nice sheath. The Case XX Presentation Bowie. I'm not going to get into the history lesson on the proper shape and whatever, because nobody ever recovered Jim Bowie's actually Bowie. The only one that is in a museum in San Antonio. It was one that he made, somebody else carried. Looks more like the Natchez Bowie. Anyway, this thing is awesome. It's so awesome that it pisses me off. And what pisses me off is generally the people who buy this. You'll see that there's nothing on the blade outside of the stamp, which you can look up on websites what stamp relates to age. So because these are collectible, you can tell how old the blade is just by the style of stamp they use. Getting back to it, it drives me crazy because people buy these and they'll have something etched on it from the company. They'll have it laser etched with their company name or a little message to somebody or whatever, and they go on a wall and they hang there. I don't understand that, because this steel was made to do exactly what this knife was made to do. This is an absolute Western fighting knife, cowboy style. This thing will tear you up, man. It was made to fight grizzly bears and Indian attacks and anything that comes your way. This knife can be thrown. It just can be thrusted. It can chop off a head. It is freaking fantastic. I like to compare blades. If I was going to compare this one, another nice sheath, the Hen and Rooster, pretty much, let me get out of there, pretty much the same. I mean, there's not much going on. Stag handle. This one's kind of a plastic. They both have brass guards. The German stainless steel, and then the stainless on the case are both remarkable knives and great steel, and both actually are shave sharp. I'll get into the Hen and Rooster another day. One of my absolute favorites, but today we're going to talk about this one. The blade itself is 9.5 inches long. This thing is just crazy beautiful. It's been my all-time favorite knife for a very long time. When I finally bought it after a bunch of years of always wanting to, I just said, you know what, screw it, I'm going to buy it. And I literally couldn't be happier. This thing is the megalodon of Bowie knives. It's just, I love it. It's that great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this knife in real use. I don't buy knives to put on a shelf. It's just not me. If I'm going to buy a knife, it's because I needed a knife, or I wanted a knife, and I want a knife that's used to do what a knife is supposed to do. So I'm going to press pause real quick. We're going to get over to the pallet. We're going to take some freaking wax with this thing, and I'm going to show you how great, even though it's a presentation Bowie, I'm going to show you how great the steel really is. Bam. All right, here we are at the pallet. Here we are with the blade. I didn't switch it out for some Cisco, and then I'm going to bang around and lie and try and save the case. These go up in value as you save them and hold them over time. I don't care about that. I care about this. Yeah, I care about that. And if you're on this channel, there's a pretty good shot that that's what you care about too. Now, let's take a nice close look at the edge. I'll tell you what, it's as pretty as it was coming out of the box. It's not marred, it's not scarred, it's not abused, it's not beaten. It's just beautiful. So let's throw that down there, stop the video, and we'll continue from this point. All right, so here we are at the stump drop test. I like to do this for balance and to test the scales on a knife, generally the handle itself. I can drop this 100 times, it's going to stick 100 times. I can throw this thing 100 times, it's going to stick 100 times. I can pry this thing out. Look at that, just turning the block. Man. And it is dead straight. This knife is awesome. If you're gonna buy a Bowie, use it as a Bowie. Don't use it as a wall hanger. Jim Bowie's crapping in his grave with watching people buy these things for the wrong purpose. This knife is incredible. I know this wood is nothing to brag about. So, I mean, who cares? You know, you're gonna think, oh, it's not hardwood, blah, blah, blah. But it's wood. Imagine that. I'm running out of batons here. And it's a knife. Wood, knife, wood, knife. Bam, just goes through. Fan-freaking-tastic. If you want the do-it-all, says-it-all, is-all, this is what you want for a Bowie. The case is more than just a pretty piece on display in your house. This thing is an actual fighting knife. It's a working man's Bowie, and it's probably the prettiest working knife you will ever own if you buy one. Yep. So, can it be used for more than just chopping down elephants? Yes, it can be used for all kinds of bushcrafting. You can use it as a trenching tool. It's so wide that you can pull up a lot of ground, a lot of earth as you do that. It can be used obviously as a chopper. We saw that. You can throw it into things, you could stab things. And even though it's big, you can very, very easily, and I mean very easily because it's so sharp, you can, man, you can feather stick a wood. Yeah, that's a proper English right there. Anyways, when I'm done with my thesaurus, I'm going to come back and explain to you what I meant about feather sticking a wood. Until then, I'm just going to show you pretty pictures. I mean, golly, just awesome. You want a knife that does it all. You need to take your knife to make a knife. This is the one. You know, if you got to make a trap pit and you need spikes at the bottom, it's not going to take you very long to carve little spikes to see if you can trap game. Boop. It's fantastic. So another thing, I told you it is shave sharp out of the box. It's a little dirty right now. Obviously, you can see it's banged up. Not the edge, obviously, but just the looks are banged up from doing what we just did. And it's still, look at that. Whoop. It's still incredibly, incredibly sharp. The edge retention on this thing, I mean, oh, hello, it's awesome. I'm pretty sure with a few more college degrees, I could come up with a better word than but nothing is going to describe more of my feeling for this knife than because it's just really that. It's just so incredible. Normally I'd take you over and I'd do a final wrap up, but I think it's pretty simple to see what this is. I'm just going to do it here and now. This thing is worth every single penny, and it's really not as expensive. There's like 15 different words I just said there. It's not as expensive as it probably should be, knowing what this knife can do, because they're selling it as a prop. But I'll tell you what, just real quick, the handle here, this little swell to hold the hand. This is a very, very comfortable piece. However, with me, because I'm gigantic, my hand, you can see it just past that ledge. It makes it a little snug. One thing that's good for me though is when I'm doing chopping and I'm working all the tasks that I need to work, it makes it to where even being plasticky and slippery, it's not going to shift through my hand. It's not going to slide. You see how comfortable the handguard fits right here. That keeps it from rotating even with a roundish handle. So that said, just props to Case for making the greatest buoy on the planet. My hat's off to you, even though it's on my head. That's all I'm Forrest Gumping it. That's really all I have to say about that. This is awesome. So this is Donnie B all day, signing off at the tree. Until next knife.